Democratic leader.
Mr. President, when Donald Trump and DOJ began their work, they kept saying the same thing. They said, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and DOJ said, this is about cutting waste, it's about efficiency, it's about meritocracy. Unfortunately, the truth has not been as advertised. It's been utter chaos. Yesterday, the Department of Veterans Affairs said they were reversing course on canceling billions of dollars in contract work because, as it turns out, slashing billions in funding that helps veterans is extreme. Excuse me. Yesterday, the Department of Veterans Affairs said they were reversing course on canceling billions of dollars in contract work because, as it turns out, slashing billions in funding that helps veterans is extremely harmful for veterans. These VA cuts were loaded by DOJ as an example of eliminating waste. The VA secretary claimed these contracts were for consultants, quote, to make PowerPoint slides and write meeting minutes, unquote. That's not even close to the truth. Let me read some examples of what DOJ was actually prepared to cut. Funding for chemotherapy and imaging services. Those were going to be cut. Hardly make work. Hardly writing meeting minutes. Funding for veterans with disabilities. Cut. Even funding to help veterans suffering from toxic exposure in burn pits. One contract would help over 20,000 veterans track down their military service record from DOD in order to prove their toxic exposure, as is required. Without these records, getting affordable treatment would not likely be possible. And DOJ said, let's cut that too. Even if the VA reverses course, canceling these contracts and firing VA staff is still immediately damaging, very damaging. There's the risk that you can't rehire workers back in time because they've moved on to other jobs, or contracts aren't available because they took their business elsewhere. And by then, the damage is done. Vital services and operations that serve veterans can't continue as before. It could take months, maybe even years, to build this back, which had been built up carefully to help veterans over the years, and many of us in Congress work for those things. So to cut these services and then say, never mind, still ends up being very destructive.